The road to 270. With exactly 1 week until Election Day and the polls as close as can be, both campaigns are blitzing the battlegrounds and eyeing all the different possible paths to victory. The state that could be the deciding factor, Pennsylvania. Our Steve Kornacki has this look at which counties to watch.
It's going to be election night, and we're going to watch as this county map lights up in Pennsylvania. I know you'll be watching it closely, and believe me, nationally, we are going to be watching Pennsylvania like a hawk. What are we going to be looking for in the Kamala Harris-Donald Trump race on election night? A couple things that come to mind for me. Obviously, look, you know the collar counties, the Philadelphia suburbs, Philadelphia itself, but those suburbs really have been getting bluer and bluer. Does that trend continue? Do the Democrats get more votes out of there? Another place I'm looking, though, that's been changing a bit politically, just outside Harrisburg, Cumberland County, still Republican, but it's a place where Democrats are making gains. They made some of their biggest gains in the state there in 2020. Does that trend continue as well? Also going to be looking at, a swing county. There's a pure swing county in, Erie County. It's one of only two in the state. Northampton is the other one. It's only one of two that went for Trump in 2016 and then flipped and went for Biden in 2020. Maybe a bellwether. Let's see what happens in Erie. Let's take a look at Lackawanna County, where Scranton is too. Used to be overwhelmingly Democratic county. When Donald Trump ran in 2016, he didn't win Lackawanna, but he came really close. Only lost it by a few points. In 2020, Trump lost ground. The Democrats won it by almost 10. I want to know on election night, Lackawanna County, is it like 2016 or is it like 2020? I think that'll tell us a lot about what's happening in Pennsylvania.
All right, lots to watch. Steve Kornacki, thanks. Beyond the presidential race, Pennsylvania is also a major battleground in the fight for control of the Senate. All this week, we are visiting the critical states where these are the key races unfolding, and we're checking in with reporters who know them best, covering them at the state and local level. The Senate race in Pennsylvania is neck and neck right now with three-term Democratic incumbent Senator Bob Casey in what may be the toughest fight of his career. The latest polls show him leading Republican challenger Dave McCormick, but within the margin of error. Joining us now is Lauren Make, political reporter for NBC 10 Philadelphia. She is in Drexel Hill, Pennsylvania, where Trump speaks later today. Lauren, thanks for making time for us. So Bob Casey won by big margins in his last three races, as much as 20 points in one of them. Why is this race so close this year?
Well, Anna, one of the big reasons is because the presidential race is so tight in Pennsylvania. We just heard Steve talking about this as such a critical battleground. Yes, Senator Casey did have big margin wins in his other races, but that was the same case for the presidential and the gubernatorial Democrats who were running in those years at the same time. So they all had big margins those years. This year, things are just tighter in the presidential race and also in the Senate race here in Pennsylvania.
I understand you spoke with both McCormick and Casey about one of the key issues this election, abortion. What did they have to say?
Yeah, abortion, Anna, is one of the big issues in this race, along with the economy and immigration. They have both accused the other of having extreme positions. Dave McCormick has described himself as pro-life, but says he does not support a national ban on abortion. Senator Bob Casey, his position has evolved over the years. He, at one point, described himself as a, quote, pro-life Democrat, but says things changed after the overturn of Roe versus Wade. I asked both of them about their positions and about restrictions and potential restrictions in states. Take a listen. As a U.S. Senator, would you do anything to prevent states from banning abortion?
Listen, when you say it's states' rights, it's a states' rights. I think we need to take the power out of the hands of judges, which is why I supported overturning Roe v. Wade, give it to the people to decide and pick, vote for people who are going to put in place. It's a very polarizing issue. I would not support national legislation or a ban.
The most important thing is to restore Roe v. Wade. And after that's in place, then people can have debates about limits. But restoring Roe v. Wade is the key here, and it's the difference in the race. And there's never been a clearer choice on this basic right.
So this is one of the situations where you can clearly see the difference in their positions. Now, of course, it's up to voters to decide whether this is a key issue for them and where they are going to fall.
And we mentioned Trump will be there in Pennsylvania later today in Allentown, which is a majority Latino community. I'm curious, how's this controversy over the racist joke by a Trump ally about Puerto Rico playing there?
Well, Democrats are certainly jumping on this. We will see whether this actually moves the needle. I did talk to the Allentown mayor, who tells me he thinks that it struck a nerve, in particular because it was about a place that people are proud of. And he thinks that this could be something that motivates people maybe who were not going to vote at all to maybe now decide to vote. But again, we'll see. 1 week left to see what the impact
and
is.
Trump's there today. The vice president will be in Pennsylvania tomorrow. They both have made multiple visits to your state. They're both trying to convince that tiny sliver of undecided voters. What's your sense of whether any of their pitches are working?
Well, I talked to an undecided voter this morning, actually, who tells me that he is still undecided. So there are still voters out there to get. I was at the rally last night in Philadelphia with former President Obama, and I was talking to some people there who told me that they were canvassing or making phone calls to undecided voters, and they believe that people can be convinced. But that takes time. And as we know, there's not a lot of time left.